What's up and welcome back to Rumor Has It Official. Let's get straight into talking about 90 Day Fiance, The Other Way. This is the Couples Tell All Part 1. So all the couples are starting to arrive to the tell-all. Ji-hoon has never been in New York, and he says that he thinks of Kevin from Home Alone. I thought that was funny. Paul says when he arrives that he's coming in as a new man and doesn't care what anyone thinks. When Laura arrives, she says that things haven't been easy and says she doesn't know what to expect from Alledon or what will come from out of his mouth. Jenny says she's sad and Sumit showing up on the call can get him in a lot of trouble. Tiffany arrives and is emotional. She just had her baby 3 weeks ago and is saddened by the fact that the baby still hasn't met its father, Ronald. So Corey says when he arrives that it's hard to bring up the past because it will bring up problems. While talking to Paul says to him, "Are you and Evelyn married already? Like, have you already tied the knot?" And Corey says that they're working through that. Evelyn has told Corey that he's getting fat, and this is something he was expressing to Paul, and needs a six-pack. Paul says, "Well, what is she doing for you?" Corey had no response for that except, I guess she's getting me. Pathetic. So the couples talk about all of the challenges that they face once they all sit on the couch, and one being learning the language. Trying to communicate and get around that has been very challenging for them. The host brings up the fact that Sumit was married, and did Jenny know? And Jenny says no, she didn't know. All these couples are very tense, and you could tell that they've tried to rehearse what they would say when presented with certain questions. When the host began to talk to Tiffany, Corey jumps in and starts to give his opinion. And this sets Ronald off to where he gets up and disconnects the video call because something was happening with the connection. We couldn't hear his response to Corey. When they get him back on the video call, he tells Corey, first of all, it's an addiction and not addictions. Next, he says he doesn't know how Corey can say that he's doing it for the green card when initially the plan was for Tiffany to move to South Africa. Corey starts rambling, sounding mad dumb, and Ronald cuts him off and goes on to say, as far as he's concerned, everyone makes mistakes, and he realizes his mistakes. He even owns up to them, adding that the only one he needs to prove anything to is Tiffany, his wife. Now, when he said that, I'm like, that's right, because everybody, as far as I'm concerned, sitting on that couch is on the same page. No one has the right to point their finger and judge anybody on that couch. So the fact that Corey felt it was necessary to say that he feels that Ronald is using Tiffany for the green card, it's like, you need to shut up and look at yourself. Evelyn is using you for the green card. She's using you for your money, and you're dumb enough to give it to her. So Evelyn decides to chime in. And at this point, I'm seriously wondering, are the producers telling them to do this? Because the host should be the only one questioning these couples. Evelyn says Daniel, Tiffany's son, is so young to be involved. Tiffany tells Evelyn that she stepped into this whole thing with faith, but they have to also keep in mind that it's easy to look into a relationship and pinpoint what's wrong and what you wouldn't do, but you have to look at yourself as well. Like what happened to you? She points at Corey. She's like what happened with you? She says, Evelyn tested your faith, Corey, as well, didn't she? When she flipped the script on those two clowns, I was yelling at the TV like, exactly. Now, Corey and Evelyn, you can just have several seats because you have no room to talk. They couldn't even say anything, but both look so stupid, in my opinion. Tiffany goes on to say, Ronald didn't cheat on me. The host, Sean, then says, let's move on. So it's like they really chewed them out because everything they were saying, it didn't even make sense. It wasn't valid. Corey's sweating bullets. He got sweat stains under his underpits, rambling and talking about things that he doesn't even know what he's talking about. So I'm really glad that Tiffany and both Ronald clapped back at them like, don't judge us. She's like, Ronald didn't cheat on me. Boom, boom. Okay. The look on everyone's face also when after she said that, and Sean was like, let's move on. The look on everybody's face was priceless. I was rolling. So then they move on to just Corey and Evelyn, bringing them out. And all the couples, the rest of the couples, they go to the back. Corey seems to believe that in the next 6 months, he and Evelyn will be married. But when the host questions her about it, she laughs it off and then says she hopes and she just doesn't know how they're going to plan a wedding. Corey then chimes in and says, and I know that you want me to learn to speak Spanish and that he needs to get a 6-pack. Corey is so foolish, okay? This girl doesn't care about him and is taking him through all kinds of loops because she really doesn't want to marry him, but wants to continue to use him. I just don't understand why he can't see how bad he looks. He has to do all these things as though moving to Ecuador wasn't enough, and she still doesn't want to marry him. When the host tells Evelyn to hold her hands up, it confirms that Evelyn isn't wearing her engagement ring. She says that she forgot to put the ring on. They move on to the topic of money within their relationship, and Corey says that he spent about $40,000 to $50,000 on Evelyn, and he has $1,500 left in his savings. Evelyn says that it's not because of her. Then when they go on talking about, well, if you are to break up, what's going to happen with that cocktail bar? Evelyn says that if they were to break up, the cocktail bar should be left to her. Corey says Evelyn is worth everything to him. And he says that he doesn't doubt Evelyn's intentions because it's not like she's hiding anything. Next, they get into talking about Evelyn and her exes. And at some point during the conversation, Evelyn tells Corey that she's not going to beg him to trust her. So if he feels otherwise, he can always go find someone that he can feel more comfortable with. Now, if you really love somebody, why would you say things like that? When is this dude gonna wake up? Corey is one weak dude. I just gotta say, he is weak. He doesn't have a backbone. And they end up bringing in Raul through video chat. And they also show never seen footage of Evelyn and Raul talking. Evelyn and Raul are both smiling the whole time. You know, she thinks this mess is cute. And Corey is trying to address Raul, and he just sounds like a 5-year-old kid and not a grown-tail man. He just sounds dumb. Then they move on to only Laura and Alledon sitting on the couch. So Laura and Alledon are going through a rough patch right now within their marriage. And Alledon says a lot of things have happened and that Laura is disrespectful to him. One of the first things that they talk about is that Alledon leaves her alone in the house for 5 hours or so, and she doesn't know where he is. Then Alledon is fussing at her because she went to get a coffee and didn't tell him where she was going. This whole argument is really dumb and childish and should be the least of their worries. That should be the last thing you're arguing about, because you should be able to just communicate. If you're leaving the house for 5 hours or so, why is it that your wife doesn't know? You know, and so because he's doing that and then she does it, then he has a problem. Like, it's just really, this is really petty. So they argue about there being no more money as well, and who's paid the rent. Laura's pension has been cut and she will no longer be able to pay the rent. She feels like that's why a shift has taken place within their marriage. Alledon says that Laura doesn't care about him and that all his money went on their wedding. She adds that Alledon wants to break the commitment and get a divorce. So I need to hear your thoughts on 90 Day Fiance The Other Way, The Couples Tell All Part 1. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below what you thought. I'm not a fan of them allowing other couples to chime in on other couples, because more than anything, they should be able to relate to one another, because they've all made very foolish and dumb choices when it comes to stepping out and entering into these relationships. So I'm not really a fan of them doing that. They should just allow the host, Sean, to, get the questions that we as the viewers want answers to. So I need to hear your thoughts in that comment section down below. Give this video a big thumbs up and share it with a friend who also loves watching 90 Day Fiance The Other Way. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the bell so you'll be notified on the next time that I make an upload. And I will catch you all in the next video. Peace.